Hey there guys, how's it going for today? In today's video we are discussing when you should be allowed to scoop in a game. Alright, so we are discussing when you should be allowed to scoop in a game. Now if you're not too familiar with the term, basically scooping is conceding. So we're basically just saying when can you concede in a game for the most part. But I might just keep using the term scooping because a lot of people just know that term anyway. It's a pretty common term for giving up essentially. And the reason why I'll just go into this quickly before anything else, it's called scooping, is because basically you have all your cards on your playmat and you basically scoop them up into a pile and say, well, that's it, I'm done. And wander away. So, that's basically why it's called scooping. So again, what point should you be allowed to scoop? Now, often I believe that you shouldn't be allowed to scoop unless it's at quote-unquote sorcery speed. Because it is unfair in a lot of cases and really dumb in a lot of cases when somebody's just like, somebody has suddenly got a huge advantage and somebody else is just like, well, I scoop, and now they're just like, oh, cool, now I only have one person left to kill, and oh, cool, I just kill you, and it's like, wow, how would that have happened? Like, if you hadn't have scooped, maybe we could have actually won or actually done something, but you just decided to scoop, now I die, so the game's just over. It's not that bad of a thing sometimes because, well, let's just shuffle up and play. But I know a lot of people can get annoyed with like that whole thing where people are like sort of semi-king making or whatever and whatnot in games like that. They just sort of go, well, I concede because I want to concede. And like it's sometimes I'm like, well, I kind of concede, but I kind of don't. Like basically I say, well, this person's won. And I'll just start packing up my cards and be like, well, that's it. It hasn't happened yet or whatever, but they've just won. So, right, I can't do anything. I haven't got any responses. If no one else has any responses, I'm just going to pack up my stuff and go. Or shuffle up to play again, or pull out one of my other decks to play again, or whatever. But again, it is hard. Games are, sometimes especially very long or, as well, sometimes very short. So some people after a long game or whatever might be just like, dudes, I've had enough of this game. We've been here for 3 goddamn hours or whatever, or 4 hours or even more, playing this one silly game and no one's getting anywhere, no one's doing anything. And this is just dull and boring to me. I've got other things that I want to do with my day and my life, so I'm just going to concede or whatever. Like, again, other things do come up. Like sometimes you'll get a phone call, your dog's been run over, or your mum's sick or in hospital, or your grandma's fallen and broken her hip or something, or, if you're a person that doesn't work, or who doesn't work regularly or whatever, you might be like, well, Centrelink or whatever needs to see you right here, right now, or your job company needs to see you. Or if you're a person who has an on and off job or a somewhat casual job, you might be like called into work at the last minute, and you'd be like, oh, okay, well, I need to get to work in a couple minutes or whatever, so I need to concede and go to work and whatnot, so see you guys later. Or, again, just people have other things going on in their lives. People need to go get food or need to go to other appointments, or, oh, I just need to go get my hair cut or whatever, or I need to go meet up with my other friend, or I need to go do this, or I need to go do that. So there's sometimes it's just like, well, I need to concede, guys. Sorry, I need to concede. I've just got to go. Or, other issues like, again, you don't love to see this and you wish you could, help people out, and sometimes you wish the game was helping them out, but some people might just have a mental health moment and be like, dudes, I'm just not feeling very well, or even just like they're feeling sick or whatever. as well. Like anything can happen like that, or I've just got a headache or whatever. Anything like this can happen. But again, so maybe someone will be just like, dudes, I'm like just not in the mood for this anymore, or whatever. I'm just conceding. So whatever, sorry, but see you later. And there have been times where, again, I've got, emotionally invested because it's a game that you do get emotionally invested in as well. It's like, nah, I'm just angry and I just don't want to play because if I play, I'll be just miserable sitting in the corner stewing over the fact that this game went really badly for me and I really didn't do anything, yet I was public enemy number one somehow or whatever. Wow. Because I had something, like Arcane Signet or something, and everyone was like, oh, he's got Arcane Signet, get him, whatever, for some reason, or I've got the Monarch or something, and suddenly everyone's like targeted me or whatever. So it's like, what? I had the Monarch 5 turns ago, dude. I haven't had it for since. You've all hit me for a lot of damage, so that's not where we're at right now, so it's not worth hitting me. Oh, well, we'll just hit you. Die. So it can be like that too. But again, though I do believe in that, again, it is tough to know exactly what's going on sometimes and whatnot. Oh, got my pizza come and I don't want to just eat it over my deck or eat it while I'm playing. I don't want to be too distracted while we're playing. I want to play the game, and whatnot, but I still want to have my pizza or whatever, so sometimes it's like, dudes, I need a break for, a few minutes. If you wait a few minutes, I'll finish my pizza and I'll jump right in or whatever, but some people aren't like that or whatever, or just want to get on with playing, so it's just like, well, sorry. So it conceding can be a little bit of a difficult bridge to manage sometimes, and it can be hard to make sure people are like not going to concede and whatnot sometimes, because it is hard when you're just like, dudes, this game's over, and you're just like, people don't realize this game is over and you might as well concede at this point. So like there's times where I look at a game and I go, dudes, this game is over. Pretty much. There's nothing that we can do. This person has pretty much won. They haven't won one, but they've pretty much won. There's nothing we can really do. They've got too much stuff and they can't really be touched right now. So whatever we do is going to be the wrong decision and won't really lead us to win or whatnot. Or won't really lead to stopping them from winning in a turn or two or whatever. So this game is over. So you might as well concede, and it's just going to be, in my opinion, dull and boring if you don't concede. And then the game turns into a dull and boring thing when those other people go, no, I still think we can win somehow or whatever. It's funny how some people will take conceding and some people won't. They're just like, I know there are some people that are like, I don't concede, period. You have to win or you have to beat me or you have to show me, like, whatever. I don't concede just because I'm locked out completely of playing the game, which, again, to me is completely dumb in a sense. It's like, well, you're never going to basically play anything of any relevance, and if you can't attack, or, do something or cast multiple spells per turn or even cast spells or anything else, it's like, or you can but they don't resolve or anything like this, then it's like, well, the game is over. What are you going to do? You're not going to win. So, what are you doing? Like, you're just like sitting there waiting for the other person to finally actually actively win. And I get that. But once you can see how somebody is going to win, you should be like, well, all they're going to do is play this card, play that card, and the game is over. So I might as well just say, well, there you go, you win next turn or whatever. GG, let's move on with our lives and shuffle up and play another game. That's not totally conceding. It's just saying, oh, well, next turn you do this, do that, blah, 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 and then win. Okay, cool. Right, the game's over. like that's not 100% conceding, but it is conceding in a sense, like going, well, obviously I can't do anything against it or whatever, so you just win. So, yep, let's just shuffle up and play another game or whatever. But yeah, conceding, scooping, whatever you want to call it, is a very difficult thing. Again, like everyone has their own framework of like, well, should I concede? Shouldn't I concede? Whatnot. I just want to concede right here, right now, or whatever. I'm having a really bad game. I just haven't really drawn anything. All I've drawn is lands, or all I've drawn is not lands, or whatever. So it can be very difficult. And again, somebody can just be off to the races, and sometimes somebody might stop them, but other times no one's able to stop them. And it's just like, well, it's pretty much game over because no one was able to stop that person from, doing what they were doing, and they just got off to a huge lead, and then just no one was able to stop them. So, games can be very, like that, where they've got a different, sort of ebb and flow to them sometimes, and you don't even know where a game's going to go. Somebody might just be like, hey, here's my combo on turn 2 or 3 or whatever, or here's my turn 1 combo or turn 0 combo or whatever. And like, dude, you're playing in the wrong pod or whatever, and whatnot. Or, somebody can be like sitting there, and it seems like, for several turns they could win or they could do something, but they just keep basically doing nothing. They've got the rest of the game on lockdown, but they're still not advancing or doing really anything, and they're just like slowing everybody else down that's not really doing basically anything already. So it's just like, can this game be over already? Because we're all not doing anything of relevance, and it seems like you could have won several turns ago, but yet you just probably haven't drawn that one other card that you need. So let's just say this game is over because, this is boring and, dumb, and none of us can really do anything of any relevance anyway. So, yeah. It's just one of those things where I think conceding is a really powerful and good thing, because I still think you need to be able to be like, like I said, this game is not interesting for me. I can't do anything, or, the whole table, or almost the whole table, for the most part, can't really do anything. This person's got it on a lock, or basically they've got it on a lock. So it doesn't really matter what my decisions are at this point, so I might as well just concede. You need that ability to be able to concede. But again, sometimes it can be like, well, should I concede at this point or should I concede at that point? Does it change the game if I concede at this point or I concede at that point? The best point is as early as possible, in a sense, because once you realize, dudes, this game is over, or this game is going nowhere for me or going nowhere for the 3 other players basically that are in this game, and this one person is basically just going to win. Like, games can be like that as well, where you're just like thinking, wow, dudes, this game is over, and then somebody else pulls a piece of removal or something else, and suddenly, wow, the game is back online, and wow, now we all have a chance or whatnot. Or we all pull enough together where, like, I only have one piece of removal, but Steve or whatever has, a whole bunch of, counter spells protecting all of his stuff or whatnot. So we can't just get through all of his counter spells because, he's just got so many counter spells. But, Alan or Alex or whoever else actually does have a few counter spells. So, but they just don't have anything to actually destroy the things or whatever that are actually on the field. So they're just waiting for somebody to hope that they will destroy something. So that's where communication can be a big thing as well, in helping people decide, dudes, I think we should scoop, like I don't think we can win this game. I've got a piece of removal in my hand, so I could kill one thing, but he's got a shit ton of counterspells in his hand, and we all know that. But then Alan might be like, oh, wait, I've got all these counterspells in my hand, but what I didn't have was a way to actually destroy anything. So if you destroy that, then I'll be able to fight him in a counterspell war, and we might just win, or we might just get that through, so that we can, get rid of that at least, and then the game might open up for us, So, you never know how things are going like that, because you never know exactly what's in other people's hands or whatnot. So, that little bit of information can really help change the tide of when you might concede as well. So just like opening up that little bit sometimes, and I guess, again, this is more, again, the more casual side of things, because like it doesn't really work that much in CDH where people work together that much. It's all more about like, no, I've got to win sort of thing. I've got to, defeat this or whatever mentality, or I've just got to combo off myself somehow or win myself somehow, rather than having to worry about dealing with this unless it's actually stopping my combo or whatnot. Then that's when I'm worried. But again, like in casual, it's a lot different, because a lot of decks are reliant on lots of different strategies. Combat is a huge part of like a lot of more casual decks, especially like Voltron or go wide decks and whatnot, and things like that. So yeah, even like decks that still do use some other tactics, like that are a little bit higher up, they're still like, well, if I can get into combat and get a few extra points of damage here and there, then I will. And if I can't do that, then maybe it'll take a lot longer for me to actually win the game and do what I want to be doing and whatnot. So that might slow me down too much to be like being like, well, now I can't really do anything, because now everything that I want to do is shut down, and things like that. So it can be, again, very difficult to navigate the waters of conceding and whatnot. So yeah, I do want to talk about it more, maybe. Especially with you guys. You guys can let me know what you guys think about conceding, scooping, whatever you want to call it. Write your thoughts down there in the comments below. I'll be sure to respond to all the comments, or try to respond to them at least. I really do enjoy interacting with you guys, talking about all these EDH, the geeky things that we love. And yeah, so I'll see you down there in those comments below, or I'll see you in the next one. Hey, you've just finished watching one of our videos. A bunch of other videos are popping up on your screen now for you to check out, so why not check them out?